Now when it comes to attracting and being effective at attracting new business, one of the things you need to do is differentiate yourself. Become unique, or find a point of difference. You know, what is it that makes you unique? You might be wondering, why is there a purple cow on the screen? There's a book written by a guy called Seth Godin. Has anyone heard of Seth Godin? Okay, so Seth Godin's probably one of the thought leaders of modern time when it comes to marketing and leadership. Okay, Seth Godin wrote a book called Purple Cow. And the analogy he used, he said, imagine if you're from the city and you're a kid and you've never seen a cow before. Now he's from New York, so imagine coming out of the city, going into the countryside, you've never seen a cow, and as a kid you're like, wow, all these cows. And for about the first 10 kilometres they're interesting. And then after about the 20th or 30th kilometre, it's just another cow. So it becomes white noise, it becomes part of the background. He said, imagine if you were driving along that stretch of highway and there next to the fence was a purple cow. What would you do? You'd stop. Take a photo?
You'd never forget it.
You'd never forget it? You would. You'd take a photo, you'd get out, you'd probably tweet it or put it on Facebook, you'd tag yourself in it, you'd be doing these ones, you'd be like, you'd be calling people, oh my God, there's a purple cow. You'd be spreading, what he calls sneezing. Sneezing the brand out there and spreading the message. Okay? Seth Godin talks about what is it that makes you remarkable, and what's going to differentiate you from everybody else is something that needs to be remarkable or remarkable. Now, the reason being is we're exposed to so many marketing messages on a daily basis. It really is white noise. And it used to be that he or she with the biggest marketing budget won. Not these days. Not necessarily. It's he or she who can stand out and be remarkable and have a major point of difference. That's the one that's going to win. You know, with the use of social media, with the your opportunity to do, and we're going to talk about outsourcing a little bit later on, and there's so much available at your disposal to produce results at such a low investment. It really does level the playing fields, but you need a clear message to communicate. Why should I do business with Vicky as opposed to going somewhere else? What's going to make you different? Okay. Now, you might, by the way, this can be, I should say, one of the most challenging things for small businesses to do is to come up with what makes me different. I do exactly the same thing as everybody else. You've got to start to think about what is it that you do better and how can you articulate that. And I want to share a quick example because I was working with a tile company. Now I know it's not in the beauty industry, but tile company, Nigel his name was, been working with him for a couple of years, and we were, it was getting interesting. There's a lot of competition in the tile industry these days. Okay, now he's from a tile, he supplies to builders, so he's more of a wholesaler. He does a little retail, but more to construction.
I'll give his number.
Get his number? Okay, perfect. And I said to Nigel, what is it that makes you different? Why should someone buy from you? And he's like, well, I've been doing it for 30 years. My dad had the business, I've been doing it for 30 years, I'm just good at what I do. Okay, great, I can't sell that, Nigel. Give me something else. Okay, keep working with me. I said, what makes you good at what you do? And he said, well, just that experience. I said, tell me about that experience. What's that experience had you develop over these years? And he said, well, we make sure we get the right tiles, turn up at the right time, every time. Okay, now we can work with something. Now we're getting somewhere, the right tiles at the right time, every time. Okay, good. How do you do that? Well, I have a process. Well, tell me about your process. The process is, and we went through the process step by step by step. We worked out there's about 21 steps in this process. Now we've got the 21-point quality assurance check to ensure the right tiles turn up at the right time, every time, guaranteed. No one else has a quality assurance check. Do they sell the same tiles? Possibly. Do they have a quality assurance check of some description? Possibly. Do they articulate it? No. So it might be that you do exactly the same as everybody else, but it's just a matter of how you articulate that. Unfortunately, good old-fashioned customer service as a unique selling proposition doesn't have the same pull these days because everybody says it. What makes you different? Good old-fashioned customer service. Nope. Sorry. Tell me how you provide good old-fashioned customer service and maybe we can work with something. All right? And making sure that unique point of difference or unique selling proposition is marketed, is communicated, is articulated. All right? So spend some time on that over the next week or so. If you haven't got, has anyone got a clearly defined USP or point of difference, thing that they use on their marketing material? No, it's okay if you don't. Most small business owners don't. So my coaching would be to spend some time on what is it that makes you, why are you better? Why should I do business with you versus go to somebody else or not do business at all? Okay, and then how do you articulate that? And it might take some time, you might need to wordsmith it, but it's worth investing the time.
Is that similar to, like, from our classes we've been doing with you, something like your mission? Is that what you're saying?
It's different.
Different to that?
Yeah, different to that. So it's, like I said, some other USPs as an example. It's the fish that John West rejects that makes John West the best. That's the USP, that's their USP. That's what has John West be able to charge 30, 40, 50% more for the tuna that they charge in the competition and still be the #1 leader of selling tuna and canned fish. Another example was if it's not delivered in 30 minutes, you get it free. That USP for Domino's was worth $1 billion. Because it filled a need. It differentiated them from the competition and it filled a pain point. Friday afternoon, screaming kids, hungry, tired, need to get food within 30 minutes, who do I call? Okay? So, a clearly articulated guarantee will pay dividends. It's going to take some time to work on it, but invest that time.